What's up people, Jason here, and it's been a minute, but I got a new desk setup for you guys. All the components of this setup you see in front of you, the monitor, the soundbar, the lamp, the keyboard, the mouse, the chair, and even the fake plant falls under $400 combined, and also falls into this really dope dark plus warm lights color scheme that we got going on. Let's roll some artsy music and b-roll, then get right into things. Alright, let's talk desks, because as I was first conceptualizing this setup, I was going for a build centered around this, Lindemann, and a Deals combo from IKEA. It's really clean, black to fit the color scheme, and less than $35. The desk I got in the final build though is clearly not that desk, and it's because of our good friend the Rona. This Lindemann top is practically impossible to come by. Kinda sucks, because I've had this exact desk in white for several years. I know it's one of the best in terms for value for money, minimalism and such, but 2 IKEA attempts later, the black one's still out of stock, so I resorted to using this desk that my dorm just had lying around. It's dark, so it doesn't disrupt the theme of the setup in the least, but I'm using it here because it's available. When it comes to my official desk recommendations, I'll drop the IKEA links if the black Lindemann comes back in stock, and Amazon links to cheap black desk alternatives. The next piece of this setup is the KeyMove Snowfox, a black mechanical keyboard that I recently swapped from the stock Gateron Reds to yellows. Big thanks if you met me over there at that video. But pretty clearly, the main reason I brought this keyboard over into today's video is because it just fits perfectly with the theme. Also, it's a good mechanical keyboard in general. Out of the 4 I reviewed recently, it's the only one that's hot swappable. It's also got Bluetooth and USB-C connectivity, RGB backlighting, all for under $100. This is really for those of you that got your eyes on smaller keyboards like the M Pro 2, but want that hot swappability. Let's play a quick 10-second sound test with those brand new yellows. This is Xiaomi's 23.8-inch 1080p IPS monitor, one of the most crucial parts of any desk setup. Now look, I have this because Banggood was kind enough to send out some stuff to help when I told them I was putting together a desk setup. This and the crazy soundbar contraption we'll talk about in a sec were both sent out to me by these guys, but I wasn't paid a cent to say anything particular, being as objective as possible per usual, and that's why I'm going to say this about the monitor. It's not the best value for raw specs. Just a quick Amazon search would show you that for quite a bit less you can get monitors with a better refresh rate or extra size if that's what you're going for. This line of Philips monitors specifically is one of the best options I could find if the best spec for price is your focus, but I do like how minimal the Xiaomi is. It's literally got nothing but a power port and HDMI on the back, and it's clean and color accurate. The computer I use with this setup is the next topic of discussion, and I want to make this quick so I don't actually convince y'all to buy this computer. I've recommended it before, that I know, but it's been a couple years, and I'll be honest, I've been holding out on buying a new computer for a while. I'm probably going to do that soon and of course share the process with y'all. Just keep in mind, I haven't been doing much research or anything like that. I'm not super satisfied with this guy at the moment, and I'm definitely not recommending it here. But it's the Acer Aspire E15, i7, 8 gigs of RAM, Intel graphics, and it gets stuff done, just barely. At the very least though, it edits videos, handles schoolwork well, and it's black to fit the theme. Alrighty, the soundbar. This guy's interesting because getting it to speak to me in English was not the easiest experience. I had to put some files onto a micro SD card and give it a firmware update just to be able to use it, but now that it's functional, this is a little Swiss Army knife of a speaker system. I mean, of course it's got speakers, but it's also an alarm clock, it's got lights, a bigger battery than what's in my phone, and probably also qualifies as a desk ornament because of its design. And look at these buttons, it's got actual keyboard switches under the keycaps. Pretty sure they're Gateron Blues. I personally think that's really cool. The sound quality I describe as a large Bluetooth speaker, which is kind of what it is, good with highs and mids, but not much bass. Here's a sound test for you. This is the mouse I'm using right now, the Ajaz i303 Pro, and it turns out this is a fairly popular wireless mouse in the budget gaming community, at least on Reddit. It's got subtle RGB lights, the color is, well, you already know, and for $34, it hits the three main marks I require of a mouse: good tracking, a good scroll wheel, and of course, being wireless. I'm not a huge gamer or really hard to please at all when it comes to mice. I just ask that they work well and are reliable, unlike my last mouse from TechNet that literally broke within 2 months of getting it. I'm gonna list that one down below so you know what not to get. Now let's talk about the aesthetic elements that help bring everything together. This is a $30 lamp from IKEA I recently got, and I got it because A, it's square for contrast compared to my other lamps, and B, it acts as a container for some TP-Link bulbs I was recently sent. This is the third brand of smart bulbs I've tested, and if you remember from past features, the Novostella bulb was the brightest, the Wixans were by far the most cost-effective, and with this TP-Link, I'd say it's a step up in price from the dirt cheap Wixans in exchange for brand reputability. See, TP-Link, just like LifeX and Hue, I've actually heard of before, so with this $14 bulb, you get a slightly better app and a smoother setup process. Smart lights are just lights at the end of the day, and all the bulbs I've ever featured cover the basics, like being color changeable if they're color bulbs, or being dimmable if they're just white like this one, of course all in addition to connecting to an app, working with Google Home, and thus having voice control. These are sent to me again, but I'll repeat myself here, not sponsored at all, so it's totally fine for me to say the following. The Wixan bulbs, which I'll put a card to my full review of, are still my favorite just because of how insanely cheap they are. The next aesthetic element is this plant. It's of the Vechka variety, which is IKEA's fake plant line, and it's a little pokey thing that sits there and adds some green to the setup. There's also a pair of headphones centered around it too, but honestly, I don't use headphones. Speakers, soundbars, and earbuds I don't take before headphones, but these guys look nice here and they help fill up some space. But that is my dark theme with warm lights desk setup for 2021. We are at the beginning of the spring semester, at least for me, so I suppose you could consider this a student edition, but also keep in mind some items here I wouldn't recommend to the average student trying to save some cash. What I mean by that is the soundbar, for instance, has undeniably got that gamer aesthetic. It's got over-the-top lighting, literally actual key switches. That's not what you should go for if you just want sound to emanate from your computer. And the keyboard is dope, but the Blitzwolf KB1 from my Christmas keyboards gift guide is hands down the cheapest wireless mechanical keyboard I've ever heard of. So just keep my other content in mind so you can get a feel of where you want to be in the range from utilitarian to conversation starter. But for now, this is my dark themed desk setup. Hope you liked. Subs if you loves, comments for cookies, and I'll see you soon. Why did I even try this?